so it's like, we want to make, and I talk about this all the time, it's like we all want to make this pro athlete money. And it's like, I had the #1 draft pick for the Raiders over here the other day, receiver. And it's like, I was like, how is it? It's just rookie year. He's from Alabama. He's like, it's cool. All right. You like it? And he's like, man, it's just it's a lot of work.
Unless everyone.
One thing I wanted. This is a big one. Okay, this is a big one on learning how to learn, because there's one thing, like, even when you start to feel, I wasn't the greatest at comprehension. My SAT score was about a 780. Okay, 780.
That's pretty good.
No, 1500 was the top score. It's like basically a 50%.
Oh, that's combined though, math and 1500.
Yeah, it wasn't a good score. It was not good. Okay, but that was because I struggled with understanding how to comprehend stuff. So one thing that I think is very, very important for you guys is, once you feel like you've got maybe a word like nebulous under wraps, and you understand what it is now go teach it to someone else. And that's a really big one I see with Jeremiah. He's 8. And so in his homeschool, once a week, they have to go to a singular location, and then there's other kids there, and then they have to get up and actually teach what they learned. And the kids doing that action of actually reciting it to other people and explaining to these other people what this topic or this subject matter or this, whatever it might be, how it works, what it is, and spend 2 minutes explaining it. So this would be a really good way to, if you have kids, use them, like start training them and start teaching them some of the stuff, or find someone that you could kind of like, maybe you've made friendly with a few people, and you could say, hey, would you want to do a Zoom role play? And let's go over some of these words, make some flashcards. Listen, I know you guys are probably like, dude, screw you. I left flashcards like in 7th grade, but they're helpful. It's like when I trained, when I first got into sales, I didn't know the process that this specific corporate company wanted me to go through. And so I had to drill that into my brain. And the only way I drilled it was I would explain it to Tori every day when I get back from training, or I'd get back from the dealership. I would go through basic objections, or I'd go through explaining how the process worked, or I'd go through explaining, hey, here's what a new Toyota Tundra has versus an F-150 of this and this and this, right? And I was able to then kind of practice my craft, but not in a game. And it's like, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want. It's like, dude, every pro practices, every one of them. So it's like, we want to make, and I talk about this all the time, it's like we all want to make this pro athlete money. And it's like, I had the #1 draft pick for the Raiders over here the other day, receiver. And it's like, I was like, how is it? It's just rookie year. He's from Alabama. He's like, it's cool. All right. You like it? And he's like, man, it's just it's a lot of work. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, just, it's a job, right? It's a job. It's not like it was in college when you weren't getting paid, but now you're getting this crazy money. So the expectations move up on your proficiency. And I thought about that for a while, and it's like, man, that's all I was doing when he arrived, was I was practicing in my office on my craft, whether that was presenting an idea to, everyone that was here or whatever. And so it's like, it doesn't change whatever industry. The only time it changes is when you go get a job, and then you get taught one basic Henry Ford skill, and that's what you do. And that's what you get paid to do. And you don't really need a lot of practice, because like, it's a basic job, and you'll never grow from that. So it's important that you understand that the best athletes in the world are practicing their craft day in and day out. And that's why they make the professional money. It's because they're the best, they're the most proficient, and they're the most well-practiced. So don't think that just because, you didn't have to practice in other things that you've done, that's what's going to work here. You need to practice. You have to practice. That's why it's important that you guys are on these live streams, even though sometimes I might get redundant, or sometimes you might hear the same thing. Listen, there's value to that, because there's a lot of things that we end up forgetting as we get moving in any business, right? And so I really want to make that clear to everyone, that it doesn't stop once you buy. It just starts then. Once you get the information in your hands, now it's time about repetition. It's about getting your reps in. It's about practicing, not practicing on your one appointment that you had this week. It's like you have 2-3 lead gen properties and you're practicing on the 6 business owners that own that niche in town. Shame on you. Now, you should have practiced on a bunch of other idiots first that aren't going to, exchange any money with you, but they'll listen to you and they'll throw objections at you and they'll give you their best shot at it. It's like, that's what you should spend a little bit of time every single week doing. There's plenty of people in this group that I'm sure would team up. You guys can do some Zooms, and this would be a great exercise of practicing and teaching what you just learned to the other person, being able to recite it and seeing if they hear any inconsistencies with the way they understand it. And that will help you guys out immensely.